was sitting in my church the other day during the service, kind of daydreaming, and I was looking at this this piece of glass, realizing, kind of looking at it, saying, you know, it's kind of reminds me of me. It was edgy, it was misshaped, and often, you know, I feel that way. I think people feel that way in life, whether it be physically, emotionally, or spiritually. Like they don't quite fit, you know, and you think you're the only one. And I started really staring at this piece of glass and realizing that though it was an odd shape, though it was edgy and pointed and sharp, it was masterfully carved that way and shaped that way, right, so that it fit perfectly in its place. And then as I began to kind of step back, that little piece, which is just one piece, took on a whole new meaning when you started to see the rest of the picture of this stained glass window. And just with the sun shining in, it gave it this beauty. And I realized that that's the way even the church should be. You know, all of us are different shaped. All of us have different talents. All of us have different issues. But God is masterfully carving us out. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. No matter how edgy, you know, we're not supposed to round off all the edges. If you round off everybody's edges to where they're the same shape, it doesn't fit. It doesn't make a beautiful picture. It's when everybody's uniqueness is placed in its right spot that God's big picture really takes shape.
Yeah.
You know, and then when the sun's shining through, that's what it's supposed to be anyway. You know, the Son of God, Jesus Christ, shining through your life, illuminating to the world God's big picture.
Yeah, that's good. I think a lot of times, probably what happens is, you know, when you were talking about rounding off the edges, what happens when you round off the edges of like actual objects, like say pieces of glass, and you try to put them together, they just bounce off each other's curves, you know.
Right.
But what makes a picture locked together is, like you're talking about, that roughness, that uniqueness, those points, those sharp edges that you know, some people may shy away from it, and it has potential to hurt you.
Right.
But those individualities, man, that's what locks it together. And that's one thing I've noticed about the church, dude, is everybody always wants to be like somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you and I doing what we do.
Right.
That's everybody's tendency. I get to speak and bring a message. You're a musician, you play the guitar and sing. You know, a lot of singers want to talk, and all the speakers and preachers want to sing.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be in the band kind of thing.
Yeah, I've had my band tell me to shut up plenty of times. But no, you're right, and I think honestly, until people get it, it's just going to be one misery after another, dude.
Right.
Because dude, you're here for a reason, man, and it's to be a part of the bigger picture.
Right.
And so many people, dude, it's just all about me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But if you just take that one piece and set it there on its own, it is kind of ugly. It is kind of odd. It's misshaped, the points, the edginess, the roughness, the danger of it could hurt you. There's no point to it.
Yeah.
You know, but when you see that it perfectly fits in its place in the bigger picture, that's when it all comes together. But if, like you said, if you're trying to round off all the edges and make everybody the same shape, man, it doesn't work
together. Yeah. And you know, the thing about it is it's totally like in order for that picture to come together, it's all about the attitude of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so important for unity. Like in my church, one of the common things that we pray about. I mean, yeah, we pray for finances sometimes, and we pray for, you know, leadership and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things we pray about specifically is unity. Because if you don't have unity, if you don't have the willingness for everybody to play their role, to play their part, and we've struggled with that as a church, dude, it's gonna be jacked.
Yeah.
It's gonna be jacked up. Ain't nobody gonna want to come. It's not gonna be productive. I'm not saying God won't use it and He won't bless it, but it's not being reached to its full potential, you know. And I just think it's really important for people to understand that it's okay to be lowly, and like you're saying,
What do you mean by that?
like ugly stand out. Like it's okay to sweep the floors at your church.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, it's okay to watch nursery. Anybody want to do it?
Right.
But it's okay to do it. It's actually good for you, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, but that's what I'm saying. It just goes back to, do people have to be willing to
Fit into their place.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I mean, and running a church doesn't mean just because you're sweeping the floors, you're going to be sweeping the floors forever. But just in the picture of the stained glass, I mean, you have a spot, you have a place, you have a position. And without you, man, there's a hole. And so many churches are operating with all these holes in it.
And they call themselves holy.
But that, you know, and you don't have to. Unity isn't everyone thinking exactly alike. All of us looking the same. You know, it's unity is no matter what the shape, no matter what the edges, it being masterfully fit by the master's hand in its place, so that it makes the big picture. And when the Son of God shines through, like the sun shining through this stained glass here, that's when the real beauty comes through.
Right.
Without the sun, it's still got a beauty to it, but it's not illuminated, and it's not its fullness, what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like with the stained glass window, I mean, it takes a lot of time to make one of these.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, and the precision and everything. It's not just slapping up a pane of glass. You know, it's time consuming, and it takes time sometimes to get all the pieces to fit. But I think that's what God's trying to do.
So the question would be, what's your role?
Yeah, where do you fit? Where do you place? And are you willing to let the Son of God to shine through? Willing to let Christ really shine through your life, no matter what your shape is, no matter what your position is in this.
No, I can't.